Now, back in February, Hillary Clinton was doing a speech for her donors, fundraiser, and she didn't seem to understand why millennials were flocking to Bernie Sanders and not to her. And what she's going to do in this recording from back in February, so this is during the heat of the primary, at a Virginia fundraiser hosted by a former U.S. ambassador. And she's going to talk about what she thinks of millennials and what she thinks of Bernie Sanders.
Some are new to politics completely. They're children of the Great Recession, and they are living in their parents' basement. They feel that they got their education, and the jobs that are available to them are not at all what they envisioned for themselves, and they don't see much of a future. I met with a group of young black millennials today, and one of the young women said, none of us feel like we have the job that we should have gotten out of college, and we don't believe that the job market is going to give us much of a chance. So that is a mindset that is really affecting their politics. And so if you're feeling that you're consigned to, being a barista or, some other job that doesn't pay a lot and doesn't have much of a ladder of opportunity attached to it, then the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could be part of a political revolution is pretty appealing. I mean, I'm still trying to understand the revolution part, because here's how I think about it. And Senator Sanders sort of alludes to this. In order to have the revolution, first we have to take back the Senate and get to 60 votes. Then we've got to take back the House. And that may require some redistricting in order to get people out of safe Republican seats so they can be competitive again. I think we're already in like year 6 or 7 of a 2-year term. So, those of us who understand this, who've been experienced, who've worked in it, know that it's a false promise. But I don't think you tell idealistic people, particularly young people, that they bought into a false promise. You try to do the best you can to say, hey, that's his view, that's what he is offering you, but here's another way where actually we can achieve a lot of what we have said starting day one.
Okay, so look, that was a long clip to get through, so I apologize for that, but I wanted to get all the context in that. But basically, what she's saying is, see, I'm not gonna overpromise you. We can't have free health care. No, we can't have anything like that. We can't have more aggressive stances on climate change. We can't have that. No, we can't have any of these common sense things that most of the rest of the world has. Gee, I wonder why she is not inspiring people like Bernie Sanders. Despite Bernie Sanders now campaigning for her, there's still not that level of excitement. Why? Because she's not exciting and she doesn't have that bold vision. Okay, that's the problem. Now, later on, and I don't have the audio for this, but she says, look, where she points out where she's on the political spectrum. Quote, I am occupying from the center left to the center right, and I don't have much company there because it is difficult when you're running to be president, and you don't understand how hard the job is. I don't want to overpromise. I don't want to tell people things that I know we cannot do. I want to level with the American people and be very clear about the progress that I think that we can make. And see, look, she's right about the problems facing millennials, right? There is a lot of problems here, but look, she's at this point in time, this is back in February, she did not have those policy positions in place to combat a lot of those problems. Remember, she said $12 minimum wage. She's now changed that to $15, okay? Beforehand, she didn't have a really good college plan. Now her college plan is a little bit better. Families making under $125,000 a year can go to college debt-free. Okay, that's a better plan. That's a decent plan. For healthcare, maybe single payer. I would hope that she would be in favor of that and that she would campaign strongly on that, because that's the direction I think the American people want to go in, to be honest with you, and eventually get to a Medicare for all option. So the policies that she had at this point were not as progressive and certainly were not inspiring. Now, the other critique that I'm going to have of this is the fact that, once again, this goes back to, oh, you Sanders supporters, you're too idealistic. You're too pie in the sky. No, we can't do any of these things. So stop dreaming. I find that ironic, right? Because for one, it doesn't help us progress. Saying that idea is too far-fetched when these are ideas that most other industrialized nations have actually gotten done. Calling those idealistic, it's not going to help our progress. Okay? And here's some other things, right? This is kind of the irony of this. I remember when people said, hey, having a black president, too idealistic. Never going to happen. It's not going to happen. So stop dreaming. I remember a candidate that ran against that black president. Can't remember her name, though. And then, of course, you have the whole idea now that having a female president, also kind of a far-fetched idea. Oh, wait a minute. Look, this is why Hillary Clinton right now is not doing as well with millennials as she should. There was a new Morning Consult poll that recently came out earlier today that showed her about a 51% with millennials. So, look, that's a bump. No doubt. She's actually getting more millennial support now than she was last week, last month, several months ago. 51%. Now, that's pretty good. However, that's nowhere near the 70% that Bernie Sanders had of millennial support. Trump has 19% millennial support. So kind of chew on that a little bit. The problem is this kind of reveals establishment thinking. We can't be too idealistic. We can't actually give people a vision for the future. That, yes, will be difficult, but through hard work and perseverance and working throughout the years. I mean, look, Bernie Sanders, his policy promises were not like, day one, you're going to get free health care. No, never did Bernie Sanders never said anything like that. He never tried to paint it as that. He said, hey, we do the political revolution. You get me into office, and then you get other progressives into office, and we can work on getting this done. It's going to take a long time. It's going to involve a lot of participation. It's going to take a while. But this is the end goal that we want to get at, because this is the vision that I have for America. Hillary Clinton does not have that same vision. In fact, we're not sure what it is. And she's been running for, like the last year. And we still don't know this vision. What do you want to do? What's your vision for America? You want to get things done incrementally? Well, the best way to do that, if she actually does want to get these things done, is she goes and says, we're going to go for the strongest, most progressive position. And then I'm going to hit Republicans over the head with it until they come to the table to compromise. That's how politics works. That's how it's supposed to work. You present your side, the Republicans present their side, and then you go and basically argue until you come to a compromise. So that both sides get some of what they want, instead of what we have been doing as progressives under President Obama, coming over to their side and saying, oh, don't worry, we're not going to argue for the actual real progressive position. What we're going to do is we're going to start more towards your side and give you most of what you want, and maybe one or two things that we want, like starting with the Heritage Foundation plan. Oh, but it was supposed to have a public option in it. Oh, we had to scrap that because the Republicans, I had to deal with the Republicans, and maybe they would vote for the plan. Oh, looks like they didn't vote for the plan at all. It passed, and I'm speaking of the Affordable Care Act, it passed by a partisan majority. A majority that we no longer have. That's why you can't compromise from the middle. You can't start from the middle and go from there. You have to start from the most progressive position. And that's always been the fault of Hillary Clinton and these corporatist Democrats, is they always start at the right-wing position. That's not how you get things done. That's not how you negotiate. And going back to Bernie Sanders, starting from the progressive position is actually more practical. It is not pie in the sky. It is actually practical, pragmatic, and it's actually a really good a tactic for getting things done. Say Bernie Sanders had been nominated and he won the election. You think we'd get single payer? No. But do you think he would start off with single payer, fight like hell, and get us a public option that would eventually lead to a single payer? That, absolutely. What Hillary Clinton is doing is she's starting from their position and just saying, we're going to keep Obamacare the way it is so the Republicans don't scrap it. That's not the way to negotiate. That's not the way to play politics. She's terrible at this. And that's why I think that she's one of the weakest Democrats, or the weakest Democrat that you could put up. And I'm tired of progressives out there, or liberals out there, I should say, that actually don't have the spine to say, no, we're gonna start from a progressive position and go, and negotiate from there and actually get things done. Because look, our politics, it requires a level of compromise, and we have compromised way too much as liberals. But the last thing I want to start, and I'm going to be repeating myself. You've got to inspire people, okay? You've got to give them a vision if you want to inspire people to vote for you. You want to give people a vision for something to fight for. And you got to say, I'm the one that's going to be fighting for this, X, Y, and Z. She's not doing that. And the problem is that we're settling right out of the gate with Hillary Clinton. Now, Obama, he didn't do that during his elections. If you can remember, he actually campaigned as a real progressive. Now, he gave people a vision. Now, he didn't deliver on that vision. But there are some reasons, unprecedented obstruction, as well as being more of a centrist, more of a corporatist, once he got into that office. But still, these are the things that Hillary Clinton is lacking. And if she wants any hope of winning this election, or at least winning over millennials in even larger numbers, she's got to start giving that vision. And look, to be fair, she is adopting more progressive positions, Mr. Bernie Sanders, but I think a lot of us here are expecting that to end. We're expecting a pivot, a change back to the right after this election happens. So, hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.